just up there. I made it. I'm the oldest guy you're gonna see tonight. In fact, you guys are so young and great looking. I'm the oldest guy here, right? But do not worry, we're gonna have a good time. I am very cool, okay? I've done a lot of drugs. I came up in the 70s, all right? I was crazy. But the thing is, warning to the young people here, this is what happened. I'm 37 years old. My body's changed now. I used to do cocaine, peyote, LSD, but now I can barely handle gluten. God, the other day I had a bad trip. I'm lying on the couch, I'm hallucinating like crazy. I think my blood pressure's low, I got hives. I call 911, paramedic comes over and he's like, "What did you take?" And I was like, "Crouton." So it's getting old stuff. I looking at you guys, there's probably a lot of denial about it because I was the same when I was young. I never thought I'd turn into my grandparents, And maybe you might be thinking you're going TikTok, and I'm not going to get old. I'm going to do the fillers and the Botox and all that stuff. Well, here's the thing, none of that stuff works. Take a look at what happened to Sylvester Stallone. Now I got to check with you guys. You guys know who he is, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not dead yet. Okay, Sylvester Stallone. He did all that stuff, but he had money, so he did much more. He was doing testosterone injections. He was doing growth hormone injections. He was drinking the blood of teenagers. Why? Because he wanted to go back and look like the young Rocky Balboa. You remember him punching out that bloody slab of beef? But then, instead, now he looks like the slab of beef. Oh my God. Rocky. You're 77 years old now. Let's face it, the eye of the tiger's got cataracts. Poor Rocky. I'm kind of thinking we should just relax about this whole getting old stuff. I know I could use that advice. Why can't we just go back to the prior generation, what they did? Like my grandpa, he accepted it. Okay, the man, he retires, he sat in his recliner in the den, his wife put a blanket on him, he watched Wheel of Fortune, and he deteriorated in peace. The man lived to be 102. For a month he was in that chair. We didn't even know he was dead. I'm still working, I'm not retired yet. I am by day an anesthesiologist. No applause. Thank you so much. Every time, but it's good to see one of my patients are here, thank you. I'm sorry I did not recognize you with your clothes on. But, I've been at it for 30 years, so I'm really good at it, but like all fields, no one respects age and experience anymore. No, they do not. My own colleagues just yesterday, they're like, "Well, we've got this really big, complicated surgery today." And right away, I was like, "Don't worry, I'll do it." And they were like, "Oh, Richard, we thought you were napping." What was I supposed to say? Well, I told them the truth. I was like, "Well, I'm awake now." They were like, just chill out. It's going to be fine. We're giving this case to Kyle. Kyle? You're giving it to the twink doctor? He comes to work in a crop top. What does this young Kyle have that I don't have? And they were like, hope. The only people that are supporting me as I'm growing old are my kids. They are in their late 20s, always sending me these how-to articles. They just sent me one. How to leave an estate to your children. I was like, but seriously, I did just finalize my will. Now that is a process. You gotta have difficult conversations. My kids got very emotional, and I was like, it's gonna be okay, kids, it's gonna be okay. I still got plenty of time left to burn through your inheritance. Now, I did make my daughter my power of attorney. Now what that means, you look like you know what that means, yeah, it's this legal thing, right? So if she declares me mentally incompetent, she takes over all of my money. And now I'm afraid of her. She's 30 years old. She's watching me. And I'm like, she's looking for the first sign of my dementia. The other day, I told her I forgot the Netflix password. She turns to my son and goes, "It's happening." So I've been around a while. I am worried about the world. I'm worried about the planet Earth. It seems very apocalyptic right now, and I'm doing this weird thing. I'm just totally addicted to zombie apocalypse shows, and maybe I can learn something, and I'm watching them, and then I realize, I cannot relate to those young people fighting to survive, but I can relate to the zombies. I'm just like them. I see them. I see my like-sees like. I'm old. They're old. Their hair's falling out. My hair's falling out. And they love to eat. I love to eat. I mean, not brains. I mean, no. Like sushi. I love sushi, which is kind of like brains. And anyways, it is survival of the fittest in these shows. And listen, I agree. I do not want to survive to live in a world with bad coffee. No air conditioning, no thank you. And besides, listen, let's face it, does this look like it's going to survive an apocalypse? No. My kids, they'd be like, Dad, the zombies are coming, we need to leave right now. And I'd be like, give me a moment, I need to find my Lipitor. But Dad, bring the generator. Good idea, for my CPAP. So when the zombies are coming, overwhelming the city, fine, young people, I know what you're going to do. You're going to take up your abs, your hopes, you're going to run for the hills, that's just fine, you do you. Because I'm going to do me. When the zombies are coming up over the walls, it's kind of cool to watch, am I right? I mean, if you have the attitude. I'm going to sit my ass down on the lawn chair. I'm going to get out my favorite, highly toxic yet pleasurable drug, a bagel, and OD. And I will be listening to Pink Floyd. You guys, so wonderful, so friendly. I feel safe to tell you something kind of personal, as if this hasn't been personal. But okay, here it is. I came out as gay when I was 57 years old. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that silence speaks everything. That was my wife's reaction. I mean, I guess I'm bisexual. I was married for 18 years. I guess I'm bisexual. I am attracted to a small percentage of women. And all men. I mean, let's face it, every guy in here's got a shot at me. I see the beards like 1, 2, 3, fantastic. And you guys got daddy issues? He does. Do you want some more? No? So here's what it's like. I go to my first Pride Parade. I am nearly 60 years old. Now my young friends, they tried to help me. Outfitted me in a leather harness. That laughter speaks volumes too. But they were like supportive. They were like, oh, honey, oh, fabulous. That is going to give you pride. It gave me a rash. And then I'm at this parade, okay? It's crazy. There's a guy there, he's just like tossing out free gay party drugs like they're M&M's, party favors, whatever. And I'm like, well, I want to fit in. Okay, so I go up to him and I'm like, excuse me, sir, may I have a meth? He looks me up and down, hands me a Motrin. God, which I needed, okay? Because I don't know if you've been to one of these things, they go on for a while. I mean, I had to march for 6 hours. I went there to get a boyfriend. Instead, I got plantar fasciitis. And then I'm on the dating apps. You guys are probably all on them. You know what you're doing, but not me. I have no idea how to flirt with text messages. This guy, he hits me up with his opening line, "What's up?" I'm like, interest rates? So I sent him a great article from The Economist. His reply, send dick pic. I didn't even have one. So I sent him an ultrasound from my urologist. And then I have a date with a guy. He does not show up. You cannot do that to a boomer. In my day, if someone didn't show up for something, everyone showed up. Okay, if someone didn't show up for something, we thought they were dead. I was so worried about that guy, I called 911. They're like, what's your emergency? My date, Chadwick, never showed up. Sir, you were ghosted. Ghosted? Oh, So he is dead. So I try watching gay porn, you know, I gotta learn this stuff somewhere. I mean, for me, it's online classes, okay? I mean, sometimes my friends are like, hey, Rich, you wanna go out tonight? And I'm like, oh, sorry, I've got homework. Now, there is a type of gay porn that is designed to like arouse people in my age group. It's old guys having sex with super hot young guys. I try watching it. I can't get into it because I keep worrying about the old men. I am a doctor. I see what they're doing. They're being way too active, energetic. Someone's gonna get hurt. And how is this happening? Well, I know they're injecting these guys with Viagra. It's elder abuse, pure and simple. I saw a scene. There was a man being whipped. That is someone's pop-pop. He should be at home eating soup and watching CNN. But you know, I'm lucky, it all worked out for me. Good news, yeah, I'm with a wonderful man now, yay me. He is a lot younger than me. Thank you very much, appreciate that. He's young and he's hot. He looks like an Olympic diver. I mean, I've got money. The thing is, when we're out together, and this is kind of weird, people think he's my nurse. I mean, God. I mean, well, to be fair, it is how we role play. Yeah, you knew. I mean, he's like really into it. I mean, he got himself the outfit. I mean, a stethoscope. He even installed a handicap grab bar in the shower. Sometimes, this is so wonderful. I mean, it's so cute. He's like, oh, Mr. Snyder, it's time for your sponge bath. You know, I know for him that is a type of foreplay, but at my age, I want the sponge bath. You know, now that I'm with someone a lot younger than me, it's changed my retirement plan. I mean, I thought I was gonna retire, but now I can't because he'd be going to work every day. I'd be left alone in the apartment. Now that'd be okay if I was a cat, okay? I am not a cat, I am an erotic dog. You leave me alone all day, I will take a dump in your slippers. Next day, my partner, he'll be like, honey, I'm going to work. Now get in the crate. So, also Jewish. So Jewish and gay, the double whammy. I mean, great combination, right? I mean, both are difficult, but the more difficult one, anybody guess?
Jewish.
You got it! We have like, we're reading our minds. Jewish is more difficult because listen, as a gay guy, like Rick was talking about, I can pass for straight. I did it for 57 years. But never gonna pass for Gentile. No, I got this look. It's the Jewish look. We've all got it. Like when I'm back home in Brooklyn, anyone there could open up my phone with Face ID. Now there is a reason for the Jewish look. It's been studied, okay? Because we all descend from the same small village in Europe, okay? Like 1,000 years ago, our population was constricted down to 300 Jews in the entire world, all in this village. Every one of those villagers, balding, nearsighted, and pre-med. And then 1,000 years go by, and Jews marry Jews, Jews marry Jews, and then the end of all of that, what do you get? Bernie Sanders. So this thing about Jews marrying only other Jews, there's a reason, religious reason for that. It's supposed to keep us as the chosen people, which begs the question, what exactly is this chosen for? You guys want to know? You could read my mind. Bookkeeping, that's what I'm chosen for. Bookkeeping, that's it, okay? That's it.
Taxes.
He's like doing taxes. You should come up here and join me, it's amazing. Anyways, yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. I mean, so when Jews marry Jews, you get, well, this. But here's the miracle though, when Jews marry non-Jews, you get chosen people. You know who you get? You get Scarlett Johansson, half Jewish. Paul Newman, if anybody knows who he is, I know I'm old, but Paul Newman. Daniel Radcliffe, the guy who was in Harry Potter. You want to know who else you get? Timothy Chalamet, half Jewish. You guys see him on SNL, like in the Bob Dylan. I mean, he's unbelievable. He is so rare. He is a twink Jew. It took 6,000 years to figure out how to make one. Okay, and us Jewish people, we are not very nice about his look. A lot of my relatives, they refer to him as mixed. Terrible term. I prefer the more culturally appropriate term, hot. Or in the ancient Yiddish, So I'm in the old, my old neighborhood in Brooklyn, very religious Jewish neighborhood there, and they've got these stores there that will take your cell phone and make it kosher. Unbelievable. I go in, I ask the guys, like, so, how do you make an iPhone Jewish? And he's like, we remove all the apps that make you happy. I let them do my old phone. Everything is gone, except my mother's phone number. And instead of Siri, they put in Ruth. I test her out. I was like, hey Ruth, call my friend Joe Spiegelman. And she was like, you've got 2 hands, do it yourself. And I'm like, hey Ruth, how many steps did I take today? And she was like, you want to know how many steps I took to cross Russia to come to this country so that you could have a good life? And then I realized I had called my mother. So I did make a breakthrough in therapy, very proud of this. I mean, I asked my therapist, I said, so this whole coming out as gay late in life, I think that's why I have so many problems making friends. And he was like, no. That's because you're autistic. I was like, what? What? How can you say that? You haven't even seen my friendship spreadsheet. And then I get home, my partner's like, well, how was therapy? And I'm like, turns out I'm autistic now. And he just looked at me and said, you didn't know? And I'm like, no, I did not know. And I want to know anything else. I am so done with this personal insight crap. I want to go down to Palm Springs. I want to sit poolside with my margarita and not talk to anyone. And he was like, that is the most gay autistic thing I have ever heard. So my therapist explains to me that what autism is. I have problems. I'm just not built for making instantaneous human connections. So he refers me to a social skills coach. Have you guys ever heard of these people? They're very expensive, and they rigorous training. She's like, get down and give me 20 reps of eye contact. And then, I'm just kidding about that. They do role play though, and she's like, okay, Richard, we're at a Christmas party. I am a stranger at the punch bowl. Go. And I'm like, oh, that sweater, it actually is ugly. And she was like, oh, no, Richard. Try again, but this time reveal something about yourself, something personal. And I'm like, okay, I got it. My scrotum is stuck to my thigh. So I have got boomer autism. Boomer autism. This is way different from what you guys might have. I don't know, Gen Z autism, millennial autism. Back in the 60s, nobody knew about it. I remember my mother asking the pediatrician, doctor, is there something wrong with my son? And he was like, yes, he's really annoying. And then these days, so much support. The kids are diagnosed in school. They give the kids an individualized education plan. They're like, Bill here is a teacher's aide. He's gonna follow you around this year and make sure you feel safe. Not in my day. It was, Billy here is an 8th grader. He's gonna follow you around and beat the crap out of you. But I gotta say, listen, in some ways this diagnosis, it has been a godsend because now I have this perfect excuse for my behaviors. I'm on this plane flight last month, the lady next to me, very nice, and she's like, well, I'm going to Chicago to see my niece, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, excuse me, I am so sorry, but I've got autism. So I just don't have the capacity to give to folks. Now that I know I have autism and I'm not great with the social skills thing, my career makes complete sense, right? Anesthesiology. I don't have to talk to anyone. I mean, the patients, they're always like, oh, doctor, I want to tell you all of my problems. And I'm like, and sleep. So I'll leave you with this. As an anesthesiologist, I am a legal drug dealer. I'm a trained expert now. I was an amateur in my past life, but now I'm an expert. So if you're gonna party with me, and I'm recommending it, we will be doing it scientifically. Everything I have is top shelf, FDA approved. If you want to party hard, maybe you guys, someone in here, you've always thought about it, but you never dared to, you want to dabble in some S&M. Great. You do not need a safe word with me. I will be measuring your oxygen levels. So if you want to party with me, explore yourself, whatever, after the show. Come outside, find me outside in the parking lot. You guys have been so nice. Thank you so much. Rich Snyder, by the way.